So I may have finally figured out what's wrong with my boat engine.
So there we go. There's that gauge. It's going all over the place.
It's the biggest, most sensitive POS ever created. And since it's based on a General Motors engine, that probably didn't need to be said.
So we're just out fishing for an hour, hour and a half. We decided we're gonna go for a cruise. It's a windy day. We had the engine running the entire time. And of course, within 2 minutes of just running on plane, the boat started bucking again. So we started bucking now. You can hear the engine misfiring. Now if I give it more gas, it's gonna start doing it even more. So we've been running for about a minute, 2 minutes like this. Here's what the boat's doing. There we go, there's the backfire. All right, so I'm gonna now bring down the throttle. We're gonna hook up our gauges and see what kind of pressure we've got on the rail. So normally the pressure on the rail should be about 38 pounds. We're gonna hook up the pressure gauge now for the fuel injection. We'll see what we got. All right, now unfortunately this is not gonna go as planned because the hose that I got doesn't hook up to the actual gauge. But I do have the gauge hooked up now, and you can see right behind the air filter, right there is where the hookup for the gauge is. It's just got a little valve cover type of thing. And we're gonna start it up and see what kind of pressure we got now. All right, so the engine it did start pretty difficult. We are running right at that 35, 36 PSI. So I feel like a total tool because I have my engine hatch open, but I gotta leave it open in order to be able to read the gauge. So right now we're running right at that 35 PSI. So we just went up the river, we just made a U-turn, and now we're starting to buck again. And oh yeah, look at that gauge now. So there we go. Look at that gauge. It's going all over the place. All right, so we just let up on the throttle. And now we'll look at the gauge. It's starting to recuperate a bit, back up to that 35 that we were at before. But you can see before, that gauge was going all over the place. When we were running before, that gauge was right at 35, 36 PSI. The whole entire time, that thing was rock solid, steady. And then as soon as it started bucking, it started right before it started bucking, it started fluctuating a little. And then when we really started bucking, it was going all over the place. So everybody in the comments below can thank Linda for taking the helm while I was getting that shot. Wow.
All right, we're back at the dock. Time to start troubleshooting this engine.
So we got our fuel pressure gauge. We're gonna hook this up to that Schrader valve, and we're gonna see what kind of pressure we're getting. According to my mechanic, ChatGPT, we should be at 43 PSI, and I know when we were out on the water, we were more like 36 or 37. So let's see what we're at here at the actual dock without any load on the engine, and we'll start troubleshooting this. Now, my suspicion is that the fuel regulator is actually on the fritz. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pinch off the return coming from the fuel regulator and see what happens to the pressure gauge at that point. So here's our fuel pressure regulator. I'm gonna show you where this actually is on the engine right now. It's right on the rail. Here's the new one, and the fuel pressure regulator is actually right here, and here's the return. So we're at about 37. Okay, so just at idle and with a little bit of throttle, we're dropping pressure on the rail. We're at about 34 PSI, which according to ChatGPT is way lower than what it's supposed to be. So I'm leaning against the fuel regulator being the issue. I'm leaning more towards there's something wrong with the pressure at the pump. So what I'm gonna do, I've seen enough mess ups on a boat due to faulty grounds. I'm going to actually start attacking all the grounds at the battery and seeing if perhaps if we clean up all those grounds, all of a sudden the pressure comes back up because now the fuel pump is probably potentially a little bit low as far as its voltage, and maybe we're getting a voltage hit or drop at the actual pump, either one of them for that matter. So we cleaned up all the connections, but we're still down at about 35 PSI, with probably about 2,000 RPM, and this is just running in neutral right now. So I got the new fuel regulator, so I'm just gonna go for that and switch that out and see if that makes any type of improvement whatsoever. So I already removed the return hose off,
of the regulator. Now we just got to pull this clip right here, and then we just got to twist and take out the fuel regulator.
So the blue one is the original one, the green one is the new one. Now truthfully, I don't know what could be wrong with this. I mean, it's kind of passive, but hey, we'll give it a shot, right? What harm can we do?
Well, no real improvement. We're sealed down at about 35 PSI.
So we cleaned up all the terminals on the batteries. We are definitely much better on the voltage up at the helm. We've got a solid 14 volts up at the helm. That was around 13 previously, so cleaning up the batteries definitely helped with the voltage drop there. One other thing that I learned while doing some investigating while taking a break from this heat, ChatGPT said that on this engine, the hose coming off of the fuel regulator was a fuel return. One of my colleagues at work said, no, that's vacuum. And reading some stuff online, somebody said, pull the hose and that'll simulate the engine being under load. So I tried that.
So you can see right now we're at about 38 PSI. When I pull this hose, look what happens. If we're simulating under load, we actually get up to the 43 PSI. Now this is with the new regulator, so I'm not sure what the old one was doing. So now we put this back on. And now we're good. We're back down to the 38. And we pull it off, we're right up at that 43.
Now I also double checked all of my fuel lines coming in. I checked the pickup in the pump. I blew that out. That was clear. I put some lubricant in the anti-siphon valve to make sure that was nice and free. That was working well also. So I'm not 100% sure if we fix this or not. Time will tell. Stay tuned. Hopefully we have the rest of the summer trouble. Hopefully we have the rest of the summer trouble-free. The next thing we're going to do is going to shoot some power tune in there. I want to get all the junk and gunk out of this engine. I haven't done this since last spring. Not this spring, I didn't do this. So it's been well over 100 hours. We're going to use this now. All right, so our RPM, we're right about, almost at about 1,000 RPM, so we increased the RPM about 300. Now we're going to start doing the power tune.
So we're almost to the end of the can. So now we're going to empty the rest of this into the engine until it stalls out. And it may not, which is why I left about a quarter of the cans still in here. They say it's supposed to stall out. I've never had the engine ever stall out. It'll drop in RPM big time, but the probability of it stalling out, pretty slim.
It figures I got to try doing this on one of the hottest days here in New Jersey. It was 100 degrees today. It's probably still about 90 something. Thank goodness there's air conditioning on the boat. So it's already dropped to 84 from 93, which is what it was when I got down here. So we're gonna let that sit for 15, 30 minutes. We'll start it back up again, and then we'll continue. Okay, so it's been 20 minutes. The sun is starting to go down, so we're not gonna get this all done today. Let's start it up, burn this stuff off. Hopefully we can see this smoke. Okay, this is gonna be for reference. This has got the original fuel pressure regulator in there. We're in neutral. Now I'm just gonna rev the engine a little bit to see what happens on the actual pressure gauge. So here we go. So we're dipping down close to 30. And there's back to neutral. And we're back up to 38. So that was the original fuel pressure regulator. I'm going to swap out the new one, or put back in the new one that I got, which was the $25 one on Amazon. It didn't make a difference when I replaced it and went out on the water, but I think I may try replacing it again just to see what happens when I do that same test with the new regulator. This summer is not going as I planned. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna change the cap and rotor. If you want to learn in detail how to do this, you can watch my other video on the spring tune-up. Right now, I'm just gonna show you what the new cap and rotor looks like and what the old one looks like once I get it off. All right, so here's the cap. You can see everything's nice and clean in there and new. And here is the rotor. Okay, so we got the cap and rotor replaced on the boat last night, but we didn't get the screws in
to the rotor. And I'm just so disappointed with Mercruiser and Mercury Marine and General Motors. I mean, I will never buy another one of their products ever again. And let me show you why. Here are the screws. These are actually for the cap. I mean, this is you know what that is. It's a penny. Look at the size of these screws. And there's only 2 of them. There's 2 of these, one in the front and one in the back to hold down the cap. Now I'm gonna maybe use the Sierra ones because the screw that I used last night that I was trying to get in, I don't know if it's stripped or what, but there's no reason in hell one of these should strip with a screwdriver. I mean, I barely even tightened the thing down, and I don't know if it didn't catch, if it's stripped or what, but the quality on this just sucks. My old cap and rotor would never do something like this on my old Mercruiser, and I'm gonna do a video on that. I'm gonna show you the difference between a new cap and rotor and the old cap and rotor styles, and how garbage these things are nowadays. If you think the screws for the cap is bad, look at the screws for the rotor. This is even worse. So here's the screw for the rotor. Look at the size of this compared to a penny. I mean, seriously. And here's the old cap. You can see everything's tarnished up. There's a little bit of corrosion. So hopefully this actually fixes the bucking and stalling. Not that it's stalling, it just starts bucking issue. So next year when I do this tune-up, I am definitely getting the OEM Mercruiser cap and rotor. And if need be, I'm going to get newer stainless steel screws, just a little bit bigger, depending on how these things are stripped. Like I said, I don't torque anything down. It isn't like I sat here with a ratchet. I used a screwdriver. Unacceptable. I am starting to feel like Mick Jagger. I've gone through so many wardrobe changes making this video, but I think we're in the home stretch. So last night we went and took the boat out for a test ride, and we couldn't even get above 2,800 RPM. I mean, look at these spark plugs. That power tune did a number on these things. So spark plugs are switched out. My back's hurting a little bit. I'm getting too old for this crap. Next boat will definitely be a diesel engine. Let us know what your comments are below. So here we go. I mean, look at that. These things are like pretty fouled out, I think. I mean, the elements look pretty small. So with any luck, now with all this taken care of, hopefully we are good. We're gonna find out right now. So as you can see, I'm going back into the engine compartment. After doing all that work, the boat is still bucking while on plane at about 3,600 RPM. So I am going to now replace the anti-siphon valve with a non-anti-siphon valve, just to see if this problem can go away. So one thing to note, the not being able to get above 3,000 RPM, that was my own stupidity. I did the cap and rotor in the dark, and I accidentally flopped 2 of the cables. Once I flopped the cables back, it was working fine. It runs super smooth and gets right up on plane. This has got all the makings of something really simple and stupid, but the biggest PETA to diagnose. Because every time I get through this no wake zone and get up to the river, I just can't get up and down it without it bucking. So even with the non-anti-siphon valve, we're bucking. So I shut the engine off, went down into the engine compartment and pulled the hose for the vent on the tank, and we still got the problem, although it's not as bad, but it is, now it's starting to really act up. So I drained the fuel water separator. The fuel is crystal clear, pristine, and I also took the filter off of the pickup on the tank. Now I did just discover that this engine has the Gen 3 fuel cooling system on the port side. Maybe I'll try to start troubleshooting that. I'm at my wit's end. Anybody has suggestions, leave a comment down